Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. It is the protection of a fundamental human right, the right to dignity and a decent life.
Nilikuwa mtoto mdogo, hata sikuwa na akili. Sakamzaiza ule mama ambaye anakeketa msichana. Venye alikuja hivi, nikaambiwa enda ukaoge. Nikaenda kuoga. Waliwaita wamama watatu hivi. Alafu wakanishika. Hivyo ndo nimekeketwa. Ile shida nimepata, at least wakati nimekuwa mkubwa, nimeface shida mingi sana. During period, the problem of urinating. Vizuri wale ambayo hawajakeketwa, wale nimeona ambayo wamekeketwa na mimi. Sasa hivi wanapata shida mingi, hata mimi sasa I have my own problem.
Do you believe in a world of justice and human rights for all? A world where women are treated with the respect and dignity that is their right? Well, a world where poverty is not acceptable. It is possible.
Mbeleni nilikuwa stoki hivi. Kila kitu wanangu ndo wanafuatilia. Mimi ninakaa tu kwa nyumba.
Kama ActionAid haikuja, ningekuwa pale pale na ningekuwa na shida ile ile.
ActionAid is a global federation working for a world free from poverty and injustice, especially in the hard-to-reach areas of Kenya, among them Kishushe in Taita, Taveta, and Kamuthe in Garissa counties, affected the most by poverty. And through the Women Rights Program too, the organization has been changing lives for good by reaching out to the women who live by the margin of the society and supporting them to claim their rights and lead their communities out of poverty.
The reason why we are focusing on women is because in most cases they're the ones who are disproportionately affected when you look at issues to do with poverty, when you look at issues to do with gender-based violence. ActionAid being a human rights organization and the one that focuses on the rights of women and girls, we decided that having a program that will focus on the rights of women in Kishushe would be a very good initiative that we will bring in Kishushe. And the reason why we are focusing on that is to ensure that the communities in Kishushe are also able to contribute positively in terms of development initiatives in Kishushe and even in the county and in the country as a whole.
The project was targeting 500 hard-to-reach women that have been identified through a process called community-led participatory change plans. It's a participatory process where we have identified the women who are very poor and vulnerable within the society. We were not working with any women in the village. So we identified 250 in Kamuthe and 250 in Kishushe. After identifying those women, we now connected them to other stakeholders. We were not only working with them, because for this perception and the attitudes, the people who are perpetuating these are the men. So therefore, we were to work strategically with the religious leaders, with the cultural leaders, with the boys, with the school community, with the teachers, so that they can be able to support the initiative that we were advancing as ActionAid.
To realize women's rights outcomes of safety and economic security, the program has developed and applied a huge behavior change approach known as capability, opportunity, and motivation to sensitize the community and realize permanent change for the good of women and girls.
After us conducting the baseline surveys and the appraisals, we've realized that some of these problems are systemic. These are systemic problems. These are cultural issues. These are behavioral and attitude issues. And therefore, that's why we were to employ this kind of approach called Kombi, whereby we were saying, let us change the attitude and the perception and the behavioral aspect of the society so that they can be able to give the women where they are supposed to be placed accordingly.
Implemented within the context of local rights programs LRP, the Women Rights Program ensured that local women's rights organizations are at the forefront of challenging the social and cultural norms that contribute to women's vulnerability. This meant that the lived experience and leadership of women living in poverty and exclusion are at the heart of every action undertaken by ActionAid.
Hii Women's Rights Network tulianza tukiwa watano, wa mama watano. Ndio tulianza.
na saa hii tuko 490 women in that umbrella. Na wale wamama ambao tunafanya kazi na wao ni 250 women, wale ambao wamelegwa katika jamii, walikuwa wanateswa katika jamii.
Maxaan ogaaday markii hooyada ay u waday ay geysay duqeeshimihii markii alaabta isku diyaarsanay aan arkay waan soo carare waxaan u maaday maadamako u maaday lafu way u waday maxay geysay chiefkii iyo dadka kale waa la wacigeliye markaas dadka kale isku leeyahay.
Unajua kama dini imekataa.
As an administrator or a government official, we work with the people. Our resource are the people. You know, you cannot be in every area. People give us information. They tell us crime is happening here. There are people plotting this thing. There are people planning this thing. There are those who want to do this thing. And through awareness, and ActionAid and Kamuthe women, they have been making my work easier. I can say that. Yes, where there are challenges, I know, but if you work with the people closely, very closely at the grassroots level, under Acacia tree, if you sit with them, tell them this thing is not right, we should do this, we should do that, then I think everything will run smooth. In the end, I think in the long run, I see a bright future.
Building on the gains from the Women's Rights Program 1, the second phase of the program targeted to increase the safety and security of women and girls and improve their economic well-being by working with women, girls, boys, men and relevant system actors to build community capacity to prevent violence against women and girls and support women's livelihoods in the two project areas. It has worked to challenge gender-based violence perpetrated through harmful cultural practices such as the female genital mutilation, FGM.
Katika kazi yangu ya kuhamasisha community ama population ambayo wakaji wa Kamuthe, kina baba ama wanaume huwa tunakutana nao msikiti tukiwapatia mawida na lessons kadha wa kadha, na kina mama tunakutana na wao every week. Lazima tuwe na mkutano fulani ndio tukiwaeleza ya kwamba yale wanahitaji kufanya na yale ambao hawafai kufanya. Hiyo ndio njia ambayo tunatumia.
Women's work is often overlooked, underpaid and undervalued. They work in unsafe conditions and have precarious jobs. Greater corporate accountability for upholding human rights is needed. In most cases, women's labor has been considered second class.
Wanawake tulikuwa tunadhulumiwa. Hatuna mahali pa kujitetea, ila ukiambiwa na mzee, mimi nataka usikanyage pale, nenda vile nataka, unashika hivyo hivyo. Mpaka nikawa na watoto 5, 6 hivi. Niko mahali pamoja, sijawahi ongea na mtu yote nje. Ilikuwa mpaka ningojee bwanangu akiuza mbuzi ama akiuza chochote kile aniletee chakula nyumbani. Sikuwa nashika pesa, sikuwa nafanya lolote lile. Mimi kazi yangu tu ni kuchunga, siwezi kununua chochote kile.
Tumeweza kuleta wale wamama ambao wako na pato la chini, tunawaita hard to reach women, tukawaweka katika makundi ambayo hayo makundi wanafundishwa kila mwezi, na hayo makundi wanakaa wakiongelea zile changamoto wanakumbana nazo pale katika kijiji chao. Na wakija katika hizo changamoto, yani tunaweza sema pia ni safe space za wamama ambao wanaweza kujadili mambo yao yale ambayo yanawahusu. Pia kutokana na hilo, kwa vile wanawake tulikuwa hatuna pato, pia tunajadili zile miradi ambazo tunaweza tukafanya sisi kama wanawake zinatuletea pato. That is, tunafanya ukulima, kuna wale wanafanya ufugaji wa mbuzi, kuna wale wanafanya ufugaji wa kuku, na kuna wale wanafanya kilimo. Tumetengeneza ma kitchen gardens ili mama aweze kupata pato kutoka pale.
Mbeleni hatukuwa na mashamba, ukipata ni shamba 1, 2, na hiyo hata ilikuwa inasimamiwa na wababa tu, wamama hawakuwa nayo. Sasa wamama tuko na shamba yetu ambaye tunalima, mbegu bado ActionAid wanatuletea tunalima, yani tumesaidika sisi.
Walinipatia economic empowerment. walituletea more angels hatukuwa nazo na mbuzi.
Now they have become farmers. They have a way to support themselves. So when you give something, small things, you done it like farming, the woman is now busy, she has a resource, it will going to bring FGM practice lower, it will going to lower, it will also improve the livelihood of the people living in that area.
Kamuthe Women Network and ActionAid kama wangekuwa mimi singekeketwa. Juu ningewatorokea wanisaidie. Sasa hii nikeolewa nipate wasichana. Sitaki wapitie ile shida mimi nimepitia. Wasichana wangu watakaa hivyo hivyo. Even dini inasema hakuna kukeketwa. Singependa kukeketa wasichana wangu na sitawahi kukeketwa.
In its sunset, it is well noticeable that Women's Rights Program II was successful in creating a long-lasting change for communities by combating behaviors at the center of women's vulnerability. The program was all-inclusive, involving all the members of the community in sustainable activities. This allowed for increased opportunities for women's leadership in the communities involved, as well as more men and boys stepping up against violence and harmful practices.
With all this, the county government also realized that then we have to put a policy in place to ensure that whatever action that is happening, it has to be embedded in policy. So again, through the Women's Rights Network, because they're the ones who are on the ground and they're the ones who are able to attest and identify some of these cases, they're the ones who kind of influence what actions are involved, are put in the policies, okay? And they were able to point out issues like the need of having rescue centers in Taita Taveta. We didn't have any rescue centers in Taita Taveta. And as we speak today, we have a rescue center that is being put up at Bura, of course, courtesy of the work that the Women's Rights Network have done with the duty bearers.
ActionAid, through the voices of the people and public participation, they approached the department and the county government. We're able to develop the first, since devolution 2013 commenced, SGBV policy for the county. And currently we are also working hand in hand with ActionAid to do a gender mainstreaming policy. We are a bit behind the schedule, but we wanted to do gender mainstreaming policy so that we can have opportunities and all that stuff in every sectors of our departments and in the county, that we look at the gender policy, gender mainstreaming to be precise.
There's nothing more important than knowledge. Whether I'll still be in the county or where I'll go join an NGO later on, and that knowledge will stay with me, and with that I'm impacting the community in a positive way.